Journeys is recorded at Doghouse Studios. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube to keep the conversation going. Remember, if you like the content, like the content. Hello, today is Wednesday, April 13th. I'm Chad Jones, and welcome back to Journeys. How are you doing today? Good? Good. All right, let's get into it. So this week we've been talking about purpose, and yesterday we kind of established that purpose can be derived from a bunch of questions, and I actually messed up because the most important part of the fifth question, which, for those of you who don't really remember the questions yesterday, the purpose questions, which are who are you, what do you do, who do you do it for, what the people you do it for wanted or needed, and what those people got out of it. Very important part of that last part is not only what they get out of it, but how it changes them. I missed that, and I apologize. So today we're going to talk about that. What your purpose does, what you do for yourself, who you are, who you're doing it for, what the people you're doing it for need. Most fundamentally, how you change other people. That, I think, is a big part of your purpose. What do I mean by this? Well. If you are a parent like I am, your purpose for parenting might just be, again, funneling cash to your kids. How does it change or affect them? Well, it allows them to have a house over their head, allows them to eat, it allows them to live their life comfortably. Correct? Correct. What about if you are a single person who really only works? Well, extrapolate that, expand that. Everything in your life can be looked at from that outside point of view. Well, if you're let's say you're a single woman who just works, comes home and goes to the gym. Well, who are you really doing things for? Well, you're doing things for yourself, but the more you're doing things for yourself, the more you're learning who you are, the better you understand yourself, the more outwardly you can share who you are with the people you care about. And I think that's very important, because once you find out who you are, once you know, have a better idea of who you are, everything you do, every decision you make will be made in confidence, not made in almost like a cornered animal way. If you feel that way. But I think those are like the direct, that's a direct result of you. However, what you're doing those other things for, the purpose is, again, you go to work. Well, who are you working for? You're working for yourself, and you're there for your money, but ultimately you have to report to your boss. You have to report to your coworkers. So how do you change your coworkers with what you do? If you're a good worker, maybe they like you more, maybe they work a little bit harder, maybe they respect you a little bit more. Maybe if you're a bad worker, they don't really respect you as much. They don't really look to you for answers or solutions, so on and so forth. Let's go even further away from things I know. Let's say you are... Actually, I've been watching... on YouTube, I've seen all these videos of this guy pretty much asking people for small favors, so like bus change or $1 or whatever, and he'll ask all these people, and if they say yes, he's like, hey, that was a test. You just made $500, $1,000, $10 million. Not that much, but it was this like character question, and a lot of this was based on like I guess homeless people. He was trying to help a lot of homeless people out. One of them was he borrowed a jacket from a homeless man. He put $500 in the pocket, and then this man was like, what the heck? And then he went out and handed out all this money to all these other people, and then the guy came back and he's like, dude, that was amazing. We witnessed all that. We have that all on film. Now we want to get you real money. And they gave him real money, and I think they like got him to a shelter or whatever. It was really cool. Really, really cool. And taking that point and taking that purpose, that guy is obviously like, his point is to make content. Like, that's the content he's making, but he's also putting a lot of money and faith into these people and hoping that, I mean, I don't really know how much of that is staged. It could be staged, but I would like to believe that these people aren't actors that are just dressed like homeless people. These are like legitimate people who are just doing good in the world. And he's like, if we film people that don't do good, we're just not gonna take that footage and just gonna leave it, and everybody else we're gonna film, and look at this, look at what happened here. No, the optimist in me says it's not staged, but anyways, so let's look back at how we change people, because that's kind of where this was all going, was how we fundamentally change people. And is that an immediate change? Is that a large term change? I don't know, but a lot of our purpose and a lot of us being here is how we interact with our fellow human being. It's just how it is. It's how we, as a species, are raised to be interactional and close-knit. So, looking at all this, how does your purpose, or how does what you do, change the people around you? Well, I look at myself, I look at not just like work, but everything else, like me parenting. How does it change that I spend time with my boys? When Logan's just awake and sitting on the floor, I'm on the floor with him, I'm cuddling with him, I'm looking at him, I'm playing with him, I'm trying to make him smile. Like, that to me is him getting attention. That's him getting his getting a stimulant that he wouldn't be getting otherwise. And he's a very busy kid. Like, he likes to crawl around now. He crawls backwards. He can't really go forwards, but he crawls around now. He's very active. He's always constantly moving. It's crazy how good this kid is at just doing baby things. It's just nuts. He's already eating like solid food now. He's just spectacular. And I think how I affect and change him is he's watching me a lot, and he sees what I do, and he wants to do that. He wants to walk. He wants to stand. He wants, obviously it's his influence is both great and very, very limited, because I have so much influence over Logan, but with crawling and wanting to stand and all that, like he really only has limited goals. Where if I look at Liam's on a completely different level of how he takes from me, how he takes from Annette, what he needs, what he wants, how we change him, because every day it's like, we're telling him something new. He's learning something new. He's doing something new. He comes home with a wider vocabulary, or he can say bigger sentences and think longer thoughts. It's just incredible. And you forget that when kids are that young, like we actually went, Liam hung out with his old classmate. She moved up an age group yesterday, and Liam hung out with his old classmate, and they were just having a really good time in the backyard. So what does Liam do? Well, Liam looks at all of the playground. She's on her swing with her mom. Liam looks at the whole backyard, and he's just like, okay, this is my playground now. And he's just running around. But I'm watching his old classmate, and she's talking, and she's kind of shy. But just like the way she moves, you can tell she's older than Liam. Like, you can just tell she's a little bit more advanced than Liam. And I think her birthday is like end of May, and Liam's is end of September. So it's like 5-month difference ish. I had to count that. I actually don't know off the top of my head. And it's crazy that at that 2 to 3 year mark, how different but how same they are. Anyways, I think a lot of how I've affected Liam is he's such a chatterbox, and I definitely know he doesn't get that from his mom. He gets that from me. You know what? Actually, I'm going to take a small break, and I'm going to just write down a bunch of ways I change people, for the good, for the bad, for the indifferent, and we're just going to bang them off in the second half. All right, so now that we have my little list ready, we're going to talk about how I change kind of the people around me, how what I do, who I am. Um, yeah, just how I change the people around me, how I think I change the people around me, because I can't really know. I can only see what I think I do. But let's start with my wife, because I feel like she's the closest person to me. I really like to push her hobbies. I really like to be able to facilitate her growing as a person and learning more about herself, and that's why I really like to push her hobbies. Which I think is both very it's kind of passive and active, where it's I will go and buy her things. And again, today's this very special episode is actually her birthday. So I'm very happy birthday, Annette. I love you, you know that. And yeah, I'm dedicating this episode to you, but let's talk about how I think I change you for the different. Let's just call it that. I push her hobbies a lot. I really like to say hey, here's a new book for you to read. Here's a new puzzle for you to figure out. Here's a new game for you to play. Here's a new thing for you to make in any context. Here's a thing for you to paint. All of that stuff. Very passively, where she's hey, I want to do this thing for my hobby. I'm yeah, go ahead. Or very actively, where again, I will go out and find that for her. And I find allowing her to find herself and what she likes to do and, fulfill herself in that way, it really allows me to fulfill myself by taking what she does and what she's made and what she sees and going, okay, well, now I got to do something like that because that's so cool. It's not a competitive thing, but it's a little competitive, but it's not a competitive thing where it's I got to do that now. I think I really challenge her. Sometimes it's just challenge her patience with me, not doing anything. And she's you haven't done anything in 72 hours. Do something. I need your help. Other times, it is, hey, when was the last time you did this? When was the last time, to go into a little bit more details, when was the last time you worked out? When was the last time you stretched? And she does the same thing for me. Or when was the last time you took your medication? Or things like that. But she also does the same things for me, where she's just holds you accountable. And I don't necessarily think that that accountability is a bad thing, but it's definitely something where I wish I was more accountable for myself. And if I was more accountable for myself, maybe she would see that and be oh, he's doing his own thing. I got to do my own thing. And I think that that's something that definitely needs more work. Is just being that accountable for myself. I've definitely made her more social, and I've expanded her social circles. I'm a very social person. You guys all know me. You guys know. I like talking a lot. I like talking to a lot of people. And I think that when it comes to her expanding her social circle, she's talking to a lot more people. She's more likely to reach out, but I know her. She doesn't really text. She doesn't really talk. She's very much in her own world. And until I kind of say, hey, here's an idea, message this person. Can you reach out to them maybe for this idea? And she would be oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Whereas before she might not even consider it. So, also, this is the adult content you guys have been interested in. I made her a mom. Mount Chica cats. Yeah, I think when we got the cats, she became a mom. Because she's so worried. They're her babies. Everything's been her babies. They've been practiced. And when we got Samson, she was a mom. And of course, when we had biological children, she was a mom then too. And all of those aren't necessarily derivative of me, and her doing le sex. It's kind of derivative of my actions and my purpose were my meaning at the time was this cat is so cute and I want to get it. And I want to have this little family, the 3 of us, and then it was the 4 of us, and then it was the 5, and then the 6, and now there's 7 of us. And she's talking about, let's try for a girl, but not try for a boy. That's not possible, but it's just a lot. It's just a lot. But I think that she has such a big personality that nobody gets to see but me. And she's very shy and very to herself. But slowly she has grown more social and grown more comfortable outside of her like self. So that's really good. I think all of those are like definitely stuff that have been derivative of like where I saw my life at that time with her. And it's good. It's very good. Moving on to Liam. How do I change Liam? Well, he's a toddler, so like I say the F word and he's like, fantastic, that's my new fucking favorite word. And with being very sponge-like, for Liam especially, being very sponge-like, oh man. There's so much I want to say about Liam. There's so much that I love about that kid that just like naturally I wear off on him. Like, again, he's very chatty, he's very smart, he's well spoken, he's a very good thinker. He can just like, he's always in his thinking chair just going think. So he's constantly thinking. And I think a lot of like my influence on him is just me being me. Like, I think he gets a lot of his anger from me, which is kind of shitty, but I allow him to be himself. I think that's the biggest thing, is that he really is allowed to be himself. I know obviously I spoke about Logan and letting Logan just explore. Like, Liam is allowed to play with his toys. He's allowed to learn things and do stuff and see things and be him. And I just find all of it just wonderful. And it's just wonderful to see that kid grow. Lastly, I think I want to talk about how I change the listener, you guys. Or what I think I change about you guys. Because I give you guys definitely stuff to think about, stuff to talk about, but nobody thinks or talks about it to me. So, just saying. I know you guys obviously enjoy this, and this is why I do this, because I really do love listening myself, but I love, sending something out for you guys. I know there's a lot of points where I'm constantly dropping this and putting it back down for a little bit, but this is really the schedule I want to keep, which is just Monday to Fridays, and just really making content that I enjoy making. I think that's some of the most important things out there. What else? Yes, I think in interacting with you guys, you really do get to see my POV for a lot of things, or my emotions for a lot of things. Like, and it is kind of a diary as well, where it's like, hey, dear diary, I had a cork poop the other day. Cork shit. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's where you like fart and one nugget comes out and then it just... Anyways, that's gross, but moving on. I think that it really does allow another POV and how I see the world. And I think how I see the world into a void, just talking to my wall, to you guys. It just allows for my creativity to be nurtured, and I think personally, these episodes are getting more poignant. They have more of a meaning and purpose and direction, which is all what I was looking for, which is great. And it's very exciting. I think the last thing I do is I give you guys options for talking, for listening, how you want to do it. I'm not really picky. I just want to remind you guys, hey, listen and comment and be a part of the conversation, because I love hearing from you guys. I really like being able to answer questions. I don't want to answer questions every day, but I will make a list of these questions, and maybe like Fridays they'll just be like, hey, this is the end of the week, let's wrap everything up, get your questions in on the YouTube, text me, whatever. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Today is Wednesday, April 13th. I'm Chad Jones. This is Journeys, and I will talk to you on another time.